And that was Old Yellow Bricks by the Arctic Monkeys, kicking off show number 4.
And show number 4 of our YouTube channel, A Face for the Radio, for anyone that hasn't gone to watch any of it. It's pretty well done by Jon. But however, he hadn't started the show with it. We realised after we started playing that song that the cameras weren't rolling.
Yeah, that little bit of hesitation.
For those that do watch the show, the intro won't be there.
Yeah, but it was basically just us introducing the show, which,
you didn't miss too much. Usually right at the start of the show, anyway, this semester, Jon's been keeping on with like Apple and tech things, and as it's been pretty unavoidable this week, it's the Apple Watch has come out.
Yes, for those of you who haven't heard, Apple are making a watch.
It's the first thing that Apple have released that's like new, or not just like a rebranding of a previous technology since Steve Jobs' death, which was actually quite a while ago.
I think it's probably one of the newest products ever made since the iPhone or the iPod. Because they've been making Macs forever.
Well, so iPad.
Oh, and I suppose the iPad.
They'd probably be making other stuff, but
yeah, we've talked about the Apple Watch briefly on some of our other shows.
But we're going to focus a bit more on it now because it's coming out on the 24th of April, which isn't too long ago.
So it's a lot sooner than I expected.
Too soon. And with Apple, it's like general rule that the first generation of any like new tech is pretty woeful.
Yeah, you never buy a first gen Apple product
because it's a testing ground at the end of the day.
Yeah,
like if it is a hit, like they're trying to make it because other companies are going into the Apple Watch business as well, like Samsung and all.
Yeah, I mean,
it could be the new thing. It's going to possibly replace a phone, but I think if I see someone around Kiel wearing one, I'm just going to look at them like they're an absolute band.
Yeah, I was watching the presentation video, and he was talking about how you could take calls on it. So how would you do? Would you
you look like you're trying to lick your elbow or something.
I don't know how that would work on a watch. Like
someone that's learning looks like a gorilla, like learning how to use cutlery or something like that every time.
It's fucking stupid. I mean, some of the fitness stuff is quite cool. Like I think,
but you can get that in normal tech that is specifically for fitness.
I know, and you can get it for a hell of a lot cheaper as well.
It's $349 minimum.
Yeah,
and potentially, according to what website is it? Guardian.
The Guardian.
$17,000.
$17,000
I was saying to you earlier in the library that I'd expect time to be able to stop if you use this, and you should be able to rewind and fast forward time with that type of money.
If I was going to pay £17,000 for a watch, I would want time travel at that point, because that is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's absolutely extortionate.
I mean,
I like the design. Like the menu on it looks quite cool with all the small little things.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, you're still wearing a watch that shouldn't really happen. The phone's fine.
In essence, really, it's just an iPod, like the old touchscreen iPod Nano. It's just basically that strapped to your wrist. Like I just don't get it, and it's ridiculously expensive as well. Just
for what it is, it's just absolutely.
If you're going to spend that much money on a watch, you might as well buy like an established brand, not like a nice watch like a Rolex.
Yeah, I'd
or
rather
whatever.
have a really nice watch that just does the function of a watch.
Yeah.
And is a Rolex. Probably not a Rolex. There's better looking watches out there.
Yeah. I don't know. It would be interesting to see what they do with it, how the Apple Watch evolves. But for now,
with the Apple Watch, it's like a lot of its features is the fact that it connects to your phone.
Yeah, it's
and that's just another thing Apple are trying to do, where you can't really have an Apple Watch unless you have an Apple phone.
Yeah, it's
pointless to have.
Also, interestingly, it's connected via Bluetooth, which is notorious for using a lot of battery. So if you have to have an iPhone batteries are fucking terrible.
I'm guessing you do have to charge the Apple Watch.
Yeah, you do have to charge it.
I don't know how the charging works.
It's magnetic charging somewhere.
Well, I actually quite like magnetic charging, but then again, you'd need like public things. It won't be too long until like libraries and stuff like that actually just have magnetic little things around, just the size of the walls and stuff that you just put your phone on.
Yeah,
I think that's quite cool, because then the amount of times that you're just going around the library without a plug, and you're just like, I need to be able to work.
That would be nice, to be fair. Work, just Facebook.
Yeah, basically.
As well as the Apple Watch, Apple also announced 2 new MacBook models, because they've got the MacBook Pro, which is the one I use.
Yeah,
and
which is alright in terms of like the size, whereas the new one is, what's it called, like the super thin or what?
Well, they've already got the
slim.
They've got the MacBook Air, which is the super slim one, and then there's this one which is it
making
looks
it slimmer.
It's basically another MacBook Air, but in three different colors. Because normally MacBook Airs.
Is there any like performance improvements?
No, it's to be honest.
People are going to go buy it because it can come in a slightly different shade of silver.
Yeah, you can get it in the iPhone, like the gold color and the black.
People
one.
that buy those need to be chemically castrated or something. I'm looking at anyone who's watching this.
Oh man, yeah, it's 24% thinner than the old MacBook Air.
Oh, that's important.
So it's 24% more likely to snap in half.
Yeah, I was saying that.
It does have the Retina screens, which are gorgeous.
Anything that they're trying to do that's like thin, it's just going to bend, like that phone.
The iPhone 6.
That just bent in people's pockets. I think
notorious.
I don't
for
think
bending.
they're planning on doing it, but I think it's a happy coincidence for Apple when they know that their products are going to need to be fixed, and they'll probably be the only useful company in which if you send your products to them, they'll fix it for you for an extortionate amount of money, possibly more than you're actually spending to actually buy any of the products. And it's just Apple are greedy.
Yeah,
greedy.
yeah. I mean,
Smart.
You already pay a premium for their products anyway. Says the man with a MacBook. But
the thing is, like, I got a Nokia and I got an Acer, and they're cheap, but they are cheap in performance as well, and you usually get what you pay for with Apple. Like, you may be begrudged.
That's true.
You may be begrudged about the price and sometimes like the longevity of their lifespan.
Yeah, I think
they are the best cutting edge technology that is open to the public. So
with regards to laptops, definitely that's the case. I mean, their iPhones
Samsung are catching up.
The iPhones they've got a bit lazy with the iPhones recently. Like they've just been making minimal upgrades. Whereas like we talked about, me and Alex talked about last week with the S6 and the S6 Edge.
Yeah.
And they're like I really want a Samsung Edge now. They're gorgeous. And the Samsung Galaxy Note is probably arguably the most powerful phone on the market anyway, which is you buy one of those, you future-proof yourself for like at least 3 or 4 years, whereas with an iPhone there'll be a new one by the end of the next year. So
it's like new things are coming out so quickly. Like there used to be a point where you could have a phone for a good 4 or 5 years and never feel the need to change it. Now it's contracts of a year, and then you feel like inclined to change it because it's already outdated. And that's actually something that is true in a lot of other things where people are releasing things so quickly soon afterwards because people get tired of things very quickly now.
It's true, we have a very short attention span as a society now.
It has its effects, benefits in terms of we're going to be technologically advancing. Yeah, I can speak there. Very quickly. But then again, we're not really advancing the stuff that we probably could use in terms of like helping the world. And
it's just minimal upgrades, especially with Apple. I mean, it's I don't know. Yeah, it's just make it bigger, put a slightly new paint coat on it, and that's done.
To be honest, I'm more inclined to buy something that I just discovered the second before we started broadcasting this episode. I'd rather put more money into this than to buy a new product, and that is lighter cufflinks.
They're incredible.
I haven't seen them work, but they look quite they don't look tacky either. They look kind of just like a proper Zippo on your things. You could wear them at
so is
probably
it like
not a really formal thing. I wouldn't go to like Buckingham Palace with them, but you could probably go to a reason.
It's your party.
I can imagine James Bond doing it. Like he's walking up to some attractive lady and she's trying to light up a cigarette, and then you just whip out your thing and just go, here you go, and he's pulled as he does. And
is it like a Zippo Flint, or is it just like a jet?
I'll show it to the laptop, the camera, and you there, and it's quite cool. So it's just kind of, I don't know how you wouldn't be able to put much fuel in it.
Yeah, like that is the only downside.
You'd probably be able to have it for like half a night before you're like, I need to buy a cheap one from like Martin's now, and just it wouldn't be.
So lads, take note. If you want to pull at the SU, get some of those. Go out to Outback and you're sorted.
I'm in need of a good suit and in need of a good shirt that has the capability of actually having cufflinks in, and now I'm in need of lighter colour. So with
incredible.
that section done, shall we just break it up with two songs?
Yeah, let's play some music. We are going to play Modern Love, which is Coast's new single, and Always by Panama. So here we go. Modern Love by Coasts. And that was Modern Love by Coasts and Always by Panama.
That was a favourite of our ex-co-presenter Mark.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, one of the few things he did bring to the show.
Ooh.
I can say that because I guarantee he won't be watching this. So.
Yeah. Well, isn't American football tonight?
Yeah,
isn't
but
it?
he won't bother even going on the YouTube.
Yeah, I
channel.
suppose that's true.
Yeah, continuing on with the news and like topical conversation, but moving on from the tech talk.
Yeah, we'll leave that.
About
We'll leave
something
that
that came out today, I think. We've had a lot of people on Facebook going, "Oh, Ireland's going to be interesting tonight," and all this stuff. On a few people that live over there saying, "I hope tonight's good." Apparently, like clubs and all this stuff have been selling out tonight. So I think a lot of people have been planning on this on a Tuesday night. Fair enough. Yeah, it's found out that certain drugs like ketamine, magic mushrooms, and ecstasy have been made legal for the day until Thursday. Because it's seen as it was unconstitutional.
Yeah, for the next 24 hours, a host of Class A drugs are legal. Because apparently the
loophole.
The 1977 Misuse of Drugs Act was found unconstitutional by the Irish Court of Appeal this morning.
And
so
they're rushing to try and get it fixed.
So they're holding an emergency meeting tonight.
It's not as you probably first expect, because you can't just go, "Oh, I can sell drugs now, I can make drugs now." You can legally buy and use them, but you can't supply.
It's illegal to supply and possess them, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, no, I think possessing is fine. It's just supplying and making,
right,
and selling basically. So it's basically still illegal to attain them, because one half of the actual transaction is illegal.
Yeah.
So it is essentially the same law. Listen, people are still going to probably be kicked out of clubs.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's not going to change anything overnight. No. I mean, So if you're listening from Ireland, I hope you're having a great time.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. But to be honest, I can't imagine this. The radio show is like the most invigorating of things.
Well,
you probably need to put some dubstep on, some grimy dubstep.
Skank out to some Arctic Monkeys. You'll have a great time.
But, yeah, it's a strange one, really.
Yeah, weird.
It won't change anything, and because of the publicity of it, they're going to be hurrying along very quickly.
Oh yeah, they're going to be straight on it. Yeah. So fun times.
Yeah. So good luck to everyone in Ireland. Don't die.
Yeah, please don't die.
And we'll move on from that to Top Gear.
Yes.
We have a contrast of opinion. I used to love Top Gear. My family could attest to that. I used to watch it all the time. Dave was my favourite show back in the day. Oh man, Dave. Like Man vs. Food, and Storage Hunters is still a favourite if I can ever get around to watching it. But Top Gear, over the last few series, I haven't been enjoying. It's just a bit too. It's always been a bit fabricated, but it's getting a bit beyond the point. Yeah, I suppose that I can see what you mean, and it's kind of the same thing every year. It's the same formula.
I still enjoy it.
Well, yeah, I think that's where we differ. But I don't think we can argue the fact that Clarkson's taking the piss. Yeah,
for those of you who haven't heard, basically Jeremy Clarkson has been suspended by the BBC following a incident with a fellow BBC producer. So Top Gear is cancelled on Sunday, and will be until their investigation's complete. They haven't actually released any details as to what actually happened yet, because it only just happened today. I found out about it in our lecture in 4, I think it was. And
in the article said it was he was on his final warning after the Argentina.
Yeah,
incident.
Well,
he still attests was a coincidence. Which is absolute bullshit.
Well, it wasn't necessarily the Argentina thing. It was more the string of people he's offended. Like before, he said that people who go on strike should be shot.
Yeah. He said something about Burmese people.
Yeah, they had to censor the Burmese special.
He said that when he was choosing the cars, he said "eeny, meeny, miny, mo," and
used the N word. Yeah. Yep. So that was clever.
Yeah, and in that apology he did for that, it was so pathetic. Like, if you turn up the volume, it may appear that I said the word. And you're like, well, just apologise. Don't make excuses. Just apologise for what you've done. Well, you might actually get away with it.
You know what he's like. He's very stubborn, isn't he? So, I mean, I like him. He's just he's a very controversial figure. And
I think he's just taking...
Bit of a dickhead, but, that's Jeremy Clarkson, really.
He's taking it too far. And it is the most watched show in the world.
Yeah, and
it's a presentation of what Britain is like, as in a way, as in like they are trying to reflect what the most popular show in this country is, and now it's the most popular show in the world.
Yeah, it's
people from other countries will relate that show to what we're like.
Yeah,
it's not necessarily what is the truth, but that's what's going to happen.
It's definitely like if you ask like any like sort of the most like American audiences and Canadian etc. They'll all have watched Top Gear. It's very popular in Australia, South America, stuff like that. Obviously not in Argentina anymore.
Definitely not.
But I read somewhere it's the BBC's biggest sort of export. It's the thing they make the most money off abroad. BBC Worldwide that's where they make the money from that, and it'll be interesting to see what happens to Top Gear. I mean, if he gets fired from the BBC, what are they going to do?
They'll either go with trying to milk it and just replace him, which won't go down well because it'll either go well in terms of they find the right person, but that's not going to happen. People like the mixture it is, hence why they're not changing how they make the show, or they'll just completely scrap it. I think the best thing for it to be would take a hiatus for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah,
find a new line of 3 people that have a good chemistry like they do, and then find a new brand of how to make it interesting again. I think it's been warranting a break for a while.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. Yeah, I mean, it would be because obviously, as you said, their sort of chemistry is what has really held the show together, keep the audiences coming back year after year, even if it has been getting a bit samey. It's just sort of the 3 of them work really well together, and it would be unfortunate if he does get sacked. But not undeserved, but unfortunate for the show, really.
If it was one of the earlier incidences, like a few years back when he said some stuff, then I would have probably been a bit, I wouldn't say saddened, but I'd be like, maybe he should have got the benefit of doubt, but it's got too far along now for him to be just... He got so big for his boots, he thought he was bigger than the people that were paying his salary, and that's come back to bite him.
Yeah, I suppose you have to suffer the consequences, don't you? So
he won't go out of the limelight. People enjoy him too much.
Yeah.
It's definitely not the last time we'll ever hear of Jeremy Clarkson. He does so many other things as well.
Yeah, he's
he just won't do Top Gear. BBC.
They're all journalists, aren't they? So he has a column in the Sunday Times, so he'll continue writing for that, etc.
I personally feel a bit more bad for James May and Richard Hammond. Like, I know they're their own people, but a part of their success has been the fact that they know him. Big part of their success is they've been part of Top Gear. So I don't really... James May does a bit more outside of Top Gear that's current than Richard Hammond does, and so the other 2 will be affected more so by this than Jeremy Clarkson, unless they find someone to replace him. But at the top of my head, I can't think they'll find anyone that's same. I think
what's funny thing that Piers Morgan fucking hate Piers Morgan. Just FYI.
Room 101. Room 101.
Stick Piers Morgan in Room 101. There. He replied on Twitter. It was just like
applying for the job.
I'm available. #Top Gear. It's just like, shut up. Nobody wants to watch him on Top Gear anything else.
I don't think anybody would want to watch him, but I think people would watch him. It's one of those things where people hate him, but they still want to watch him because they hate him.
I wouldn't.
It's one of those people where you just love to hate him.
Whenever
I see Russell Brand, I've mentioned him so many. I don't think I've gone a week for the last 8 shows where I haven't mentioned Russell Brand. But every time I see him on the news, I watch everything relevant to it, so I can keep fresh on my hatred of him. Like if I just hated him for the first few things he did, and then somebody makes an argument about how he did something nice, then my argument's a bit debunked. So if I keep up to date with him and keep my hatred fresh, you have a good insight into my mind and how I focus my time on here.
Basically, in case you didn't know, Laurence doesn't like Russell Brand.
No, that's how it goes.
Brilliant.
And another few people that I wouldn't say, well, I know it's really about what they did. It's US tourists in the Colosseum,
That article, yeah.
It's not the only that. It's the first time I've come like to it, but on the article they use references. It's happened a few times in the last few years, and how can you even think that's all right?
Yeah, it's basically people have been etching their initials into the Colosseum ruins, and basically that's strictly prohibited by obviously the people who manage the site. It's the signs everywhere. They were caught etching their names into
first letter,
and then taking a selfie.
Stupid.
Why? What is this society that we live in?
I know. Just I think one of the arguments they said was that they were on a tour, and one of the parts, it was like a restored area, so it wasn't like the original rock or stone that was there. It was like more 1888 kind of restoration, so they thought it wouldn't matter too much, but that still doesn't make it fine.
That's like, still old and still part of...
If I decided just to write LOL or drew a penis on the Union, I know it's not a very nice building and it'd probably improve upon it aesthetically, I still wouldn't do it just out of respect.
Yeah,
it's disgraceful.
Yeah, and it's not like the SU is a iconic building of England, like the Colosseum is.
Just wait, if every other building that's from this era is down, and then KLSU is one of the few 60s buildings in the world, that would be famous.
Who knows? Maybe in a couple of hundred years, the SU will be.
If civilization breaks down, which is quite likely with the fear of terrorism,
it's
and
a very dystopian future. That one.
Kiel's because Kiel's so outside anywhere else, it's in its own like environment. It's quite likely that people will see Kiel as like the Incas or the Mayans, and then we're in the KLE system, and we're just remembered as these great historical philosophers writing about pointless things that everybody else I don't think 2-1s. I don't know. I see myself being remembered in that way. It'll be the only logical thing.
With regards to Incas and like stuff like that, there was also I don't know.
That is a very smooth transition.
I don't know if I sent you that this article.
You did.
About archaeologists found 2 lost cities in the Honduras jungle. So more sort of South American lost civilizations.
It's one of my favourite historical things to study. Like I did it last year, like South American, last semester rather, South American like Mayans and Aztecs, and I think that's one of the most interesting things.
Yeah, because we're both history students.
Yeah.
So
and they didn't find any like lost tribes or anything, but it's still incredible that they said that the animals reacted differently. Like same species of animals that you'd find anywhere else, like spider. Can't remember which ones they were, but they were reacting more aggressively to humans than ones that are slightly closer to urban environments. Like a bunch of monkeys like attacked a car and threw rocks at them and all this stuff.
Yeah, I suppose they're probably not used to human interaction. Yeah, it's in the Mosquita region of Honduras, which is sort of the northeast bit of Honduras. And Honduras, if you don't know, it's like in a bit.
Good luck trying to explain this.
It's a bit that it's in the bit that connects
Nicaragua and El Salvador.
Yeah. The bit that connects North and South America, basically
like Panama and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Central America, and it's quite cool. But they reckon there's still loads of tribes that still aren't discovered yet.
Yeah, it's just completely uncontacted
inevitable
people.
Considering how much the rainforest is getting knocked down. I got addicted to Human Planet BBC documentary like a few weeks back, and I've been watching it again. And there was a footage of it where a helicopter was going over the tribes, like first discovered tribes, and they were just fascinated and all this stuff. And they were like,
"What the fuck is that?"
Yeah, imagine if you had never seen a helicopter before.
Yeah,
I'd be like shitting myself. I'd be like, "What the?"
Kill
fuck?
it with fire.
I'd honestly think it would probably be your like Mayan gods. That's what would happen. You just
the apocalypse has arrived.
Yeah, you'd probably think it was an animal of some sort. You probably wouldn't. You wouldn't have an idea of what machinery really is.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's just strange. Kind of relating to that, I read something about Amish civilizations, communities in America, and they're getting forced more every year. More laws are being enforced upon them, so they have to basically use electronic devices. But their argument is they're using like solar power stuff, which is still
electricity.
But so gradually they're becoming debunked as a movement, really.
Yeah, I think their way of life has kind of got a lifespan now, and it's unfortunate, really. I mean,
it's a very strange thing, and to believe like just.
That's fair enough. I mean,
I don't know.
I've been reading more and more about
people.
Sort of our lives becoming like too connected, and whether we spend too much time on screens and etc.
Well, it's got to the point where the global are more connected to the local. As in, you know more about people in Australia than you know about people 2 streets down.
Yeah, that's true. I suppose
globalization for you there. That's my degree going well. It's just. I feel bad in terms of like it's one of those things where you're basically able to see history in front of you with Amish people, and then it's not going to survive past like 200 years. Like the fallout rate, because they do that thing where when you turn a certain age, you go experience the outside world and a few of the Amish communities. More of them are leaving the communities. To join
the rest of.
Like as soon as the older generations of them go. They're fucked.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, we are like obviously very connected now, and it's kind of getting to the point where we're too connected, where we stop becoming like, I don't know.
There's no individuality anymore.
That's what I was trying to say.
And just think about like surveillance, everything. You can't do anything.
Spooky.
Chris, one of our friends, wanted me to type in something. There's a French village that has a very wrong name, but it's in French.
Yeah.
And it's like saying deaf to Jews.
Okay.
That's the name of the village. It's getting renamed. And he was like, and we couldn't remember exactly what it was. So I went, I'll go Google it. And then I realised what I was about to type and search. I was just like, yeah, I'm not going to type that. I'm just going to leave it.
So it's going to be red flags immediately.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been surprised if I typed that in and then suddenly midway through this broadcast, you suddenly hear some very stern police officers going, Mr. Lear, can you come over? You're getting arrested for anti-Semitic Google searches. Yeah, luckily I had the foresight not to have done that. Shall we play some music?
On that cheery note, let's play some music. Recently, Mumford & Sons released a new song.
Yeah. Which I personally avoided listening to, so this is an exclusive first for me.
Yeah.
I've had mixed reviews. Some people say they like their older stuff, and some people say it's quite good. I quite like the idea that they're branching out, because the second album was samey. It's a good album. I enjoyed it. Like, I've seen it twice, but it's just they do need to branch out, because it was exactly more or less just an extended version of their first album. Yeah, because it's coming. Their new album's coming out shortly, a couple of months, I think. So it'll be ready for when they headline Reading this you're going to.
In whenever it is, August or October. August, I think.
August, yeah.
That's the one.
Because
so
you'll be at university.
Yeah,
I'd hope.
So yeah, it's a very different sound to their old stuff. I personally like it. It's nice to see they're going in a new direction. It'll be interesting to see what the rest of the album sounds like. So this is Believe by Mumford & Sons, the new single that just came out today, in fact. So here we go. And that was the new single by Mumford & Sons. That was Believe, and Gives You Hell by the All-American Reject for Mr. Jack Hughes.
Thank you for listening, Schnaps. My thoughts on the Mumford & Sons, I like what they're trying to do, but it's nothing special.
Yeah, I think it's a good. The sound is good. The lyrics they're not really Marcus Mumford's particularly his. They're not his best lyrical.
Also, he's definitely better at acoustic guitar than electric guitar. When he was trying to do the difference mainly with their acoustic guitar skills, that is very good strumming, very good changing the chords and everything. Not in that way. And electric guitar, it's more dependent on individual notes and being able to play them in good order. And it's clear that he's spent more time when he's been learning and all this stuff to
focus on
be able to strum the guitar, John, and than just to play electric guitar effectively. And that kind of shows with the limited amount of progression in the kind of solo thing they were trying to do.
Yeah.
I do like they're trying to branch out, but I think maybe they should have spent more time in hiatus to find the proper mix of what to do. Because they spent maybe a year in hiatus, and then they were doing loads of secret shows and doing little featuring things. So they didn't really spend that much time in hiatus.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. It's an interesting direction, and I think it'll be I'll definitely be picking up their new album when it comes out. So it'll be good to see them at Reading as well, to see what they sound like live on stage, because I've never seen them before.
They're very good live, as in quality of sound is impeccable.
It's pretty much the same, is it?
I don't know what it's like for electric guitar. When it's acoustic, like accompaniment, it's easier to make it sound good because it's simpler. It's less like those speakers are less working less hard and making fewer aggressive vibrations. That's physics talk for you there. And
Laurence Lear does speakers.
Yeah. But yeah, it's worth going to see them, especially because they'll probably choose the best songs from their old stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they didn't really have that many songs when I've seen them the first few times. They've just basically played everything, which is fun. It's brilliant.
When you saw them, had they released Babel by then?
There were...
Or was it still their first album?
I can't remember what the first time was. I think they had released both of them.
Okay.
But definitely second time release everything. I was at Glastonbury, but I missed the first 40 minutes of the gig. I went to see Gabrielle Aplin because I did have a massive crush on her back in the day. And they were good, but I prefer than going to see them in the individual gig. The lighting was fantastic, and they are worth look. And also, typically the songs they release as singles aren't as good as the songs that they just leave on the album.
Yeah, it's true.
Because when you're trying to release singles, you're trying to tends for the general public the most likable song, not always the best song. So that's what I'm looking forward to, see if they've actually done it. It's quite hard to judge what their new sound's going to be like when you just release one song. Very
true. So their album is coming out soon. I'm not exactly sure when. I think it's the next couple of months. So look out for that one.
Not too long. Moving on to Mumford & Sons and musicians doing new music. will.i.am, who's a bit of an idiot, is I didn't know until I read it earlier that he's like a part owner of a 3D printing company.
Is he?
Yeah, it says in the article. Yeah,
because I knew he makes he's got his own brand of cars.
Does he?
Yeah.
I can't imagine he is much of it. I can't imagine he's much of a creative element. More just a money pumping and media present person in the companies that he's taking part in. But it's been released common knowledge now that you can 3D print organs to people, and he's kind of transferred that idea that if you can 3D print individual organs and make them work, that surely you can make a human being. So that's what he's been claiming. Eventually, the quote is, "Eventually, 3D printing will print people," which I don't think will ever happen. Not people, anyway.
Yeah, I think that is such a ludicrous statement. I mean, yes, you could probably print like an outline, like a shell of a person.
Yeah, just
you can
a mindless drone, basically.
You wouldn't be able to give it life, though. Is the point? It wouldn't. It would just be plastic.
We could go into the argument about what is life and like what constitutes a person and all this stuff. We would need our guest of the last two shows, Alex Whitworth, here to help with that one. But I can't imagine you could ever be able to print emotions.
No. And
I don't think you'd be able to print a brain. And like with the individual small elements of it, I just don't think you could do it.
will.i.am's car company is called I Am Auto.
Why is it I Am Everything? I don't care.
It's just this thing, isn't it?
Have you seen his hair? It's got a right angle in
recently?
It. No, it's been like it for a while. It's got a right angle in it.
The little like strip thing that he has.
It's weird.
Yeah, because we watched The Voice recently. Unfortunately, I fucking hate that show. It's terrible.
Yeah, I was reluctantly watching. Well, I say watching. I was eating food while it was on, and the quality of the people singing on that show was absolutely appalling. And yet they were all jizzing all over it. Yeah, they were like, "Oh, that was brilliant." I was like, "Really? Was it?"
I can't help. But
I must not have correct ears.
I can't help but feel that The Voice is staged. Like their reactions to it are just too unnatural. Like
I don't know. will.i.am is very capable.
They're definitely putting it on. I know will.i.am is very extrovert, but
yeah,
meh.
None of them. will.i.am definitely can't sing. You can make music that's popular. You can produce music at a reasonably good level. Rita Ora, I don't really know her. As in Tom Jones used to be able to sing. He can't sing at all anymore. He's awful now. And
R.I.P.
the other guy,
Kaiser Chiefs.
Yeah, Kaiser Chiefs guy.
Main head, the frontman of Kaiser Chiefs, whose
Yeah.
name eludes me.
No one knows. I don't think he knows.
Who are the Kaiser Chiefs?
The thing is, I
first-
mentioned the other week how I was really pissed off that they did the secret set despite the fact they were already billed to do a set instead of the Libertines, and he can sing at a band level, if that makes sense. As in, like, a band that writes their own music and has the other elements of it can probably avoid having a top-notch singer, but he definitely couldn't hold a show with his singing alone.
He's definitely not a solo artist, that's for sure.
No. I think we need it, along with Top Gear. We need a break from talent shows. I don't know what TV's going to move on to. Well, TV's going to die soon. It's going to be
TV's dying out anyway.
It's Netflix.
I think we talked about that recently.
I read something earlier that it's one of those like realization like lists. It was just like
BuzzFeed.
The way like the world works now is like you're meant to be more comfortable being at home, and like, what you do and enjoy in your pastime is basically at home. And the people that also enjoy that stuff are going to be in their home. So you're less likely nowadays to meet the woman of your dreams, or the man of your dreams for the women out there. If you love Netflix like I do, and I love sitting on the sofa watching endless amounts of Netflix, I'm not going to find a person that also would like enjoy. You're not going
to stay and watch Netflix the whole time, though.
If I had some form of money coming towards me and I didn't have to work for it, I really don't know what I'd be like. It would be a worrying situation. I'd probably spend like 2 years and then I'd think, yeah, this needs to be changed.
You can only watch so much Netflix, though, right? I mean,
yeah,
you would get bored.
That's
eventually.
the only reason why you can only watch so much Netflix is as soon as you finish all your shows.
Yeah.
If they had more shows, I would never stop.
That's true.
It's just the case. I still have a few shows I need to watch, but the ones that immediately appeal to me, I'm more or less finished. Netflix for you, man. Yeah, it's worth the money if you don't have it. I have to say,
you can get through shows very.
It's
quickly.
Moorish,
very Moorish,
addictive. Well, 3D printing. We were looking at like the price of it and everything like that, and 3D pens are actually incredibly cheap. For those that don't know what 3D pens are, look it up. It's quite hard to describe.
It's basically a pen that draws stuff in 3D.
Yeah, and some of the things that people have drawn, you can actually draw things that, I say work, as in there's like a Ferris wheel one. Yeah. And I don't know. I can't draw things on paper. I don't know what I'm going to be like drawing things. I actually reckon it's probably easier to draw things in 3D than on paper.
Maybe, I don't know. For me. Yeah, we looked it up on Amazon. They're like £60.
Yeah, £60 is nuts.
And 3D printers are about £300 to £600.
But it's probably quite a lot to upkeep, and like the printing will be nearly as expensive.
Yeah,
as
we looked
printing
at
the library.
The ink that it uses.
I can't remember what the technical term of it was.
It's like £70 for a little, because it's like a reel rather than like a cartridge.
It's a strange thing. Yeah, but they're not expensive and they're going to get cheaper. It'll get to the point where printers are. Well, it'll get to the point where paper is not needed anymore. Like everything will be done digitally, and children won't really learn how to write. Firstly, they'll probably start learning how to write in unison with learning to type. That's what it'll get to.
And they'll quickly realise that typing is much more efficient and it's much easier.
Yeah, but I quite like. The thing with writing is I don't necessarily have good writing, but I don't have bad writing. But it's like your own mark. It's like how you write is quite a distinctive style. Everyone's typing's the same. You can't really have an individual trait about it. I actually quite enjoy writing the occasional time, and typing's going to eliminate that quite a lot.
Yeah, it's when I came around to doing exams in January, and I hadn't used a pen in ages because I've just been using my laptop for lecture notes. My handwriting was fucking atrocious.
I seem to remember telling you like the week or two before to start writing your notes in whilst handwriting. Revision notes in. Yeah. Well, I mean, just get prepared. But no matter how much preparation you're doing, your hand's going to feel like it's got arthritis by the end of it. As in the carpal tunnel at the end of an exam is awful. It's true. It'll be interesting to see what our generation ends up with, like health stuff because obviously I'd say we were like the recent few generations are like the first to sort of try all these have new like things. Mass computers everywhere. Like our eyesight's going to gradually get worse. My eyesight's fucking terrible anyway. I started noticing a lot more that I probably need to wear my glasses, like just out and about. I started going again, not wearing my glasses on nights out, because they keep fogging up or I keep dropping them and it's too risky to do it. And my eyesight for the first 2 hours is appalling. It slightly adjusts, but it probably helps like slightly less attractive if girls become a bit more attractive. But other than that, the advantages are limited. But my eyesight is worse than yours, I can tell you that.
Oh man.
Shall we play some music?
We're an hour in. We've got a few requests.
Yeah. My mate Alex Orr, who's thank you for listening, he wanted the new Tame Impala song, which I haven't listened to, and I'm a massive Tame Impala fan. It's not on Spotify yet, so apologies for that. But he asked for a song called Two-Headed Boy by Neutral Milk Hotel, which weird band name. Every band is really new bands coming into the scene, their band names are weird now. Like you were talking about, there's a band name generator. I would not be surprised if that's the case.
You can just go online and like just refresh it, and it will just smush two words together.
I really hope people don't do that. Like, I quite like the idea of every band choosing it from like their collection of ideas and all this stuff. Yeah,
or there's a meaning behind it. It's like Imagine Dragons is an anagram, anagram for something. They've never actually talked about what it is, but it's just
probably
like,
be able to work it out.
It's just an anagram of a couple of words or whatever.
Yeah.
Of something that means something to them. I don't know what it is. Nobody knows what it is. That's the whole point. But
anyway, this is a Two-Headed Boy by Neutral Milk Hotel, and then we'll probably play another song that we haven't decided straight after it, and we'll introduce it then.
So here we go. So that was Lifted Up by Passion Pit and Two-Headed Boy by Neutral Milk Hotel,
who aren't actually as new as I thought. They were like from 1998 apparently, from one of my friends.
Oh really?
So new band names doesn't apply to them. It's still a strange name. I'm not taking that away.
Yeah, that's true.
Still, and that was Passion Pit Lifted Up, which I heard for the first time today, which is probably quite bad. Like,
oh really?
My mates used to quite like Passion Pit back in the day, back in the sixth form days. So the first time listening to that, it's quite like it.
Yeah, it's good.
It's quite good.
Very upbeat.
Upbeat, yeah, that's a word. You wanted to talk about driverless cars.
Yes, I was reading an article on the BBC, which is about driverless cars, and the fact that I don't get the whole driverless car thing, like, because I don't know if you've seen any of this, but like Google have been testing driverless cars
for a while. It's not that recent.
It's not relatively new,
but it's coming towards the point where they are very, very possibly going to be on the road. The thing with driverless cars is, I don't know if they're being programmed to work better when other people aren't driving around them, or if they're working better with other driverless cars around. But it will take one idiot to want to drive the driverless car before everything goes cocks up.
Like, do you reckon they'd have like an emergency stop in there or something?
They must do.
I'd imagine so.
They would have
just
to.
In case it
the thing is,
fucks up.
You were posing to me about like the problem with like potential head-on crashes or dangerous crashes, whether these driverless cars will be able to react to time, or be able to deal with certain decisions about how to react to a potential crash. Now, I was saying that in the driverless car, I'd rather just turn my back to the window and just pray to God. I'd rather not sit in the car knowing an imminent crash is coming and not being able to do anything about it.
Please stop. Please.
Well, I could probably take the fact that if I cause a crash with my own error of judgment driving my car, I'd be able to take that a bit better than just being in a Google car and just going, yeah, this is going to crash, it's going to hurt, I'm dead. And that's just...
Yeah, but there's no way they'd make it to commercial like implementation without having like an emergency stop system.
I think
or something
too many people enjoy driving.
Yeah, that's also true. I mean, I wouldn't
unless it'll fuck up all these other driving companies. I don't really reckon Aston Martin and Rolls-Royce and Bentley will really want to be going into driverless cars, because the whole point of their cars is that it's meant to be like thrilling and brilliant to drive them.
Yeah,
and I can't imagine you're going to get the same driving experience in a driverless car.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they won't even want, the government won't even allow driverless cars to be able to go fast anyway. You may as well just go to a theme park on a roller coaster.
That's true. I think a more feasible kind of implementation of them would be in maybe a public transport situation within a city. Like,
instead of just pumping money into driverless cars, make public transport better.
Yeah,
I personally think we should just pump so much money into public transport anyway. As in, I think I'm not a big fan of driving. I've been driving for a while now. Like, I enjoy it to an extent that it gives you a bit of freedom and you can drive to certain areas that you can't do. But I live in a city, and luckily I don't live too far away from the centre's walkable distance. But if in London they improved the tube and the buses and everything, if cars were removed and buses still existed, buses won't be as hated.
Bloody buses.
You take a bus every day.
Yep.
And do you enjoy it?
No.
No.
No, I just wish I had the freedom of just being able to jump in the car and go somewhere rather than having to abide to a timetable.
However,
and having a bus pass and making sure I haven't lost it, which is a thing for me.
We live with two people. Well, you live with one and I live with the other. That have cars.
Mm-hmm.
And when my flatmate Ellis first started saying, "Oh, I'm going to have my car at uni," she was like, "I'm not going to take it that much. I'm only going to take on the necessary journeys." That changed. I think she kept to that not even an hour. She is driving everywhere to the point where on Sunday she was making a big hoo-ha about walking into uni, which she did for the more or less a large majority of the first semester.
Well, I mean, if you've got the means, you might as well use it, right?
Yeah, but costs.
Fuel's expensive.
Parking.
Fuel costs coming down though. Parking is
and the health.
Parking is fucking expensive.
Walking into uni and walking back is the only exercise I'm really doing.
Going up the stairs is about all I do.
Exactly. So
hooray!
Like, I'm hoping my brother does pass his test soon, so I can get. I wouldn't say my car, but it is my car. Back, because I would quite like to be able to just drive some points to uni and all this stuff next year. A bit less integral that I have a car next year because I'm living closer to the bus station.
Yeah.
But it'd be nice to be able to just drive to a bit more outward places, just be able to have a bit of freedom.
That's true, because you are kind of restricted to the bus routes, really, especially where we are anyway.
Yeah.
Because that's about all the public transport there is. I mean, there's a train station, but that only goes to London and Manchester, so...
No. But, yeah, just pump more money into public transport, not focus on driverless cars. Well, like, a driverless car is basically public transport limited to one person.
Yeah.
That's effectively
so it's not really public transport.
Wait, no, it's not. It's just... It's shit.
Yes,
that's what my attitude towards.
Yeah, I suppose it could kind of replace taxis, maybe. Like, so then
driverless taxis. I wonder.
So you just like put in the destination and it just drives you there. That would make more sense rather than having a wide scale like everybody has driverless cars.
Well, would you be owning those cars?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
I just had the idea of like a driverless taxi where people coming back really drunk just decide, there's nobody else, there's no taxi driver in here who's going to find me 50 quid. I'm going to vomit in here before I get home.
I suppose that's
which is
true.
Probably something that happens quite a lot. I remember one journey trying to get back to Liberty Court, and I was in the front seat, and I had a large quantity of Jägermeister, and I just had my hand over my mouth. Nice. Just trying not to throw up in the car before I got home. I think I reached just to the gate of Liberty Court, and I just went, fuck this, and just threw up. And
the student
driverless taxis, I probably wouldn't have had the guilt, not especially drunk.
Yeah.
If I was ill or something and I was sober, I'd probably be like, I'll try and hold it in. But drunk me would have been like,
True.
I'd quite like an empty stomach right now.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. Who knows? Technology, man. Could go anywhere.
Moving on from like the news thing, which we've been done quite a lot.
Yeah.
We'll talk briefly because we've got to do a few more little bits. We've got to do our cheesy music and stuff like that. Our listeners' favourite bits. I go on this. I don't know what you'd call this website, but it's called Stumble Upon, where you like list your interests, and it gives you a whole array of interesting articles and pictures and stuff that just it's basically not good for students because it makes you not do any work. But and there's an article. Well, there's a topic theme thing called men's interests. And there's an article called "Why Are Men Happy?" and it's just like a few little sentences about why men have it a bit easier than women at the moment, which is brilliant because yesterday was a brilliant day for women, because us men were nice enough to give them one day of the year where they can
it's
feel
International Women's Day, wasn't it? Yeah.
Because we're
was
nice.
that yesterday or was that the day before?
I don't know.
No, I think it was Sunday.
Yeah. Because we're nice enough to allow them to have equality for a day. That's basically it, isn't it?
And it's Mother's Day on this coming Sunday.
Yeah,
Just for all of you who have
you shouldn't
forgotten.
have reminded me of that.
All of you have forgotten it's Mother's Day on Sunday.
I think
Don't forget.
I
or
think
you'll be
my
dead.
mother's on holiday at the moment, so she shouldn't be listening. I'll get her something.
You remembered. It's fine.
You reminded me.
There we go.
Yeah. So a list of why men are happier or have an easier role.
Existence.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't take it for granted.
Oh yeah, we
I'm
definitely have it much easier.
Yeah, I feel bad.
Hands down.
Yeah. So here's a few of them. Talking about like Google cars and stuff like that. Car mechanics tell you the truth is one of the things.
Slight generalisation.
Yeah, it is a generalisation because I know shit all about cars.
Yeah, same.
As in,
they could rip me off at any turn.
Easily. And I don't feel much more secure when my mum and I go in there because my mum knows equally as much as I do.
Yeah.
No one in my family really does.
No.
That's why you always need to try and find a friend that knows something about cars and bring them.
That's true. They're a very useful friend to have.
I read a list where it's just like people who you should befriend in like certain job occupations. Someone that owns a club was one of them. Someone a car mechanic.
Yeah.
Someone theme park worker. There's lots of those things. If you can just find one of them, get a nice network of things, you get freebies everywhere. It'd be like Barney from How I Met Your Mother when he has like a guy for everything and he has a guy to get guys like that. That sounds a bit gay, but not in that. The world is your urinal.
That's very true.
That's very true.
Anywhere.
How have shiwis are changing that? But then again, you have to carry shiwis everywhere.
Really? Are they changing things?
I'm not saying they have the potential to change things.
I don't think so.
I don't think women will be getting to the idea.
I forgot about those. I forgot they were a thing. Obviously, I don't.
Festivals.
Them,
so. Like shiwi little
I
things.
suppose that's true.
Which are saviours for them because the toilets generally are just grim.
Festival toilets are disgusting.
It's one thing I'm not going to miss about not going to a festival this summer is the toilets.
Yeah, they're atrocious.
Yeah, I wait the whole week.
No, I completed the no shit challenge the last time I went to Reading.
Same year. I've done it 2 years in a row. I did it for DAV as well. I seem to have like a superhuman ability to do that. One of them is a strange one because I hope that it doesn't stay true. Is obviously it's for like an American list. It's you can be president and you can never get pregnant.
Well, I mean, women can be president.
Yeah, but it seems like in history it's saying otherwise. I hope actually the next time, I don't know if Hillary Clinton's going for it again, but I hope she gets it.
Yeah, well, I mean, they said that about a black president, and then we got Barack Obama. So
yeah.
hopefully America's finally
possibly the next step for the UK.
Modernised.
Possibly the step for the UK is we get our first non-white prime minister.
True,
but I don't think that's happening. If you just look at like, any PMQ, there's barely any non-white people in there, which is a shame because a lot of them don't really speak for the people. They're all like eaten.
Yeah, that's true.
Another one which is true, unless the woman, it depends on woman to woman and how confident they are, is you can wear a white t-shirt to a water park, or you can wear no t-shirt to a water park if you're a man.
That's a very, very minor detail.
What do you mean?
I don't think that I honestly don't remember the last time I went to a water park. They're like, I don't know.
Well, the UK isn't really the best.
Germ fest is the word I'm looking for. Yeah, I suppose that's true. But I mean, it rains every day, so that's practically a water park in itself. It's not very fun.
We were going to talk about like solar powered planes, and I was like, I had the idea that they couldn't store energy and that they just depended on permanent light to be able to, like the early forms of solar panels and stuff where it only did anything, it only moved if it was under direct sunlight. And if it was in the UK, those planes would be falling out of the sky very quickly.
I assume it probably flies at 3,000 feet, so there probably won't be many clouds up there
that
anyway.
Is true.
So
that is true.
As long as you fly during the day, you're fine.
We'll do one more before we move on to
cheesy music.
Cheesy music is wedding dresses cost $5,000. Tux rental can be $100.
True.
But one thing that another benefit for men is that women generally have an idea of what the wedding's going to be like, and you can just sit back and relax. I've been watching Don't Tell the Bride, where the man has been doing the job, and they royally fuck it up a lot of the time.
Yeah,
and I haven't put much thought into it.
Again, it's an overgeneralization. I'm sure there's a lot of men who get involved in their weddings and
They get them
don't
on.
fuck it up.
Yeah, probably. But the women have a more of a general idea of what they want to do, don't they?
Yeah.
I think it's more important for the woman to enjoy it than the man. For me, anyway. I'd much rather she's happy at a wedding, and I'm happy that she's happy as opposed to what I want to get.
I suppose with modern relationships, you don't have to get married anymore. It's not a necessity. It's definitely. I don't know if I'd want to bother with it, to be honest. But I suppose I am in my 20s, so I have a lot of time ahead.
I definitely probably won't get a religious.
No,
one.
Definitely not.
I like the idea of a wedding, like just having a day with your friends and family.
Yeah.
Publicly saying that you love a woman and all this stuff. It sounds quite nice. Anyway, shall we move on to cheesy
Let's
music?
play some music.
Yes. We had a request for I Want to Break Free by Queen, but I have a feeling you probably didn't get that sorted out, which is obviously true because you're typing.
No, it's alright, I've got it.
Okay, that's cool. Here we go. I Want to Break Free by Queen for my brother Sam.
Kicking the cheesy section off. Here we go. And that was Queen with
I Want to Break Free.
I Want to Break Free. And Men at Work with Man Down Under, even. And Will Young with Fall Any Deeper. Is that the name of the song?
Leave Right Now.
Leave Right Now.
Leave Right Now.
I don't listen to much Will Young, I must admit.
I actually think he gets victimised a bit too much.
Really?
His music's alright. It's not brilliant, but it's like James Blunt. Like, his music's not that bad. It's like better than everything else. At least they write their music. Well, I'm not sure about Will Young. At least they perform their music live. Write their music.
Have you seen? I don't know. It was a while ago now, but James Blunt powering people on Twitter. It was hilarious.
It's still ongoing.
Is it?
Yeah, he does it all the time.
Yeah,
I follow him on Twitter.
He's a hilarious follow on Twitter. If you have
very
it.
Good. It's one of the. I think a lot of my friends follow him. I think. It just comes with him being quite intelligent. He knows that a lot of people don't like his music, and he can take the hit. Really,
yeah,
he doesn't care too much.
It's a hilarious response to people being
mean to him,
dickheads on the internet.
But then I've always just felt inclined just to write something mean, just to hope he replies. But the thing is, I actually don't. I quite like his music, so I don't mind too much. I just enjoy watching him power people off.
Yeah, it is entertaining.
Yeah. Moving on, I read earlier an interesting article, well, semi-interesting article, but there's one small interesting bit about like extremely expensive materials, substances of the world, and like what categorizes as the most expensive and all this stuff. And like gold was 10th, and diamonds was 8th, and methamphetamine were 4th, and then the second most expensive thing I think is called tritium, which I had no idea what it was.
No, me either.
And the example they did, which took me surprised because all the pictures they put on were just like of a diamond, of the drug, and of everything else, and then suddenly it was just an exit sign. And
unusual.
Yeah, it was just not an exit sign that we have in this country where it's like lit up by electricity, but these are ones that kind of self-illuminate and they never go out and all this stuff, and it's just a permanently illuminating substance. Sometimes it's like glow-in-the-dark stuff. Yeah,
you said they had it on watches as well.
Yeah, some watches. And
not the Apple Watch.
No, not on the Apple Watch. And it's just one of the most expensive materials in the world, and I just thought, I have seen a lot of these exit signs. If you type in tritium exit sign on Google and see what I'm talking about, you have seen them around in this country. And I'm not saying to people that you should just steal these signs and take the precious take the precious substance inside, because if you stole enough of them, you'd probably be able to get a few grand out of it. And people probably wouldn't mind, because a lot of people that probably install this stuff, or people that are in the buildings, don't realise how precious it is. But it's just weird how something that's used for such a menial thing like exit signs can be so expensive.
Yeah, you'd never expect it, and I imagine they have quite a small amount.
Yeah,
otherwise it cost a fucking fortune to make.
It just took me by surprise.
Just weird.
Like, next time I look at an exit sign, I'm going to see if it's made out of this thing, and then just look around. I just go,
KUBE does not condone stealing of signs. Do not do that, please.
However, if you do it, send a little bit to me, and I'll just message me on Facebook, and then I'll show the address. Because if you do take it, I want some of the credit for enlightening me. Talking about exits. Well, no, that wasn't.
Speaking of emergency exits.
Yeah. we're going to talk about like zombie apocalypses and what you do the thing.
It was in one of your articles about like something you should always have.
Yeah. It was a very strange one because do you know those like big balls that people jump in and like water and that like
cover
you around
the rolly things.
You say if you can find one of those, you're more or less impenetrable. Yeah. And you literally would just be able to run through his horde of zombies, and it'd be fun. It would be so fun. But I saw this video from like a university trio of comedians who do little sketches, and one of them's just talking about what only lads will get this and stuff like that. And it's quite a big video. I think a lot of people would have seen it.
Yeah.
And it talks about how men don't really prepare about a lot of other things, like weddings and stuff like that.
Yeah, I personally not a very organised person. So,
however, most men have a general idea of what they do in a zombie apocalypse, which is possibly the most unlikely thing ever to happen.
That's true.
And one of the ideas was that get a pair of rollerblades.
Yeah,
The only issue would be
I can't roller skate.
That. But I think in the situation you'd be determined to learn very quickly.
Yeah,
you'd probably get a knack for it. However, if you're in a tight situation and you need to like be a bit more nimble, rollerblades seem like possibly the worst thing to have on your feet at the time.
Yeah, as soon as you get knocked, as soon as you like get knocked over, you're fucked, right? Because you can't like run away because you've got these fucking blades on your feet. You'd be dead instantly.
Like at home, I have an idea of where I'd go. Like there's a Royal Marines base about 15 meters drive away. Yeah. I'd hope they'd allow civilians in. If they don't, that's my plan fucked. I'd probably just continue down to the beach, find a boat, and just probably go about 100 meters in and just watch the carnage.
Take a fishing rod.
Yeah,
you're all good. Couple of beers.
You just hope that a zombie doesn't bite a fish and then releases the fish, and then it's just going around biting other fish, and then all of your supply of food for the zombie apocalypse is fucked over. But that's what I do. I haven't really thought about what I do here.
KUBE Studio.
Really?
It's not bad.
They'd find their way in, mate.
Mate, the doors are pretty robust.
Depends what zombies you're talking about.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. I do love zombies. As in, like, zombie games, zombie films. They're like the best genre.
They're a bit hit or miss. Like, some of them are decent.
Walking Dead, I haven't seen the latest series.
I haven't watched it yet. It's been a bit sort of samey.
It is samey. It is. It used to be a very good show. Probably was one of the best things that
the first couple of seasons were decent, and then it
spiraled down. It's one of those things where just too many series got too popular. People demanded more.
Yeah, it's true. Still,
the thing is, with The Walking Dead, I know they do comic book strips, but they don't keep to them religiously.
It's based off the comic,
but they don't stick to the storyline that religiously.
No.
So they're starting to get to the point where they're making the series for popular demand, unlike Game of Thrones, where they have books that they're doing, so it doesn't feel like they're copping out.
Yeah.
So Game of Thrones should stay fresh.
Very excited for the new series of Game of Thrones, which is coming out. I think it's
April 20th.
April 20th. Yeah.
Looking forward to Daenerys. She'll be back in my life. Good old Emilia Clarke and all this stuff. I saw one of the Game of Thrones actresses at Glastonbury.
Oh, that was the girl.
Ares, Maisie Williams.
Arya.
Yeah. I was watching Danny Brown, who's an American rapper.
Yeah.
My mate who actually just requested a song earlier, so that was a weird experience. I didn't watch Game of Thrones at that point.
Yeah, but did you know who she was? Or?
No. My mate just went, "Oh, your I can't remember. He said Maisie Williams or Arya, and then I was just like, who? And I looked over and I was like, didn't have a clue.
Yeah,
none the wiser. Probably best for me. I would have, if I had watched Game of Thrones and then saw her, I would have done something embarrassing. But we haven't got much time. And we got a few songs to
15 minutes left.
Oh God, it does creep up on you.
It's gone by pretty quickly. Hopefully it's gone by fairly quickly for you as well. It hasn't dragged on.
Hopefully. I hope not. But people seem to be reasonably nice about our show.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anybody say, can you stop doing the show,
it's
you
crap.
twat.
Stop.
Not seriously anyway. Not seriously. Have you got a preference to what you want to play?
I'm going to play a song by Royal Blood because I'm going to go see him tomorrow. Involves me and my flatmates are going to go see Royal Blood tomorrow, and very excited for that. So this is Figure It Out by Royal Blood, and we're also going to play it's a new song by Def Cab for Cutie, Ghosts of Beverly Drive. So that is coming up soon.
We'll probably have to say our goodbyes after that and play an Arctic Monkeys song that's been requested, but we'll talk about that later.
Yep, so here, kicking it off, we have Figure It Out by Royal Blood. And that was Ghosts of Beverly Drive by Def Cab for Cutie from their upcoming album Kitsumi, and Figure It Out by Royal Blood.
I quite like that last song, actually.
Yeah, it's good. Def Cab for Cutie are an amazing band. I'm very
enthusiastic.
Very much looking forward to their new album coming out in the next few months. A lot of new music coming out, which is good.
We've discussed that. It seems like a good, decent year. Like Mark Knopfler's album's coming out in under a week, which I'm so looking forward to.
Really?
Yeah. I did put some Mark Knopfler in early, but we had to cater for our fans, our many, many fans.
All of them. All 4 of them.
We appreciate that. Well, we're talking about them. We appreciate that you're listening in. And if you wanted to listen to this show again or even watch this show, you can watch us on Facebook on the channel called A Face for the Radio.
Yep, we'll be posting that up soon, most likely
on Thursday. That seems like
Thursdays.
And you can watch the previous 3 shows. First 2 with my gorgeous face and the last one with Alex's. And you can comment, please share it on Facebook. And if you think of any improvements that we can make, we'd gladly do it.
Yeah.
Which, as long as they aren't too heartbreaking and stuff like change of personnel or presenters, then you might get a punch in the nose.
Yeah, speaking of improvements, I am going to start annotating the songs that we do, because obviously we have to cut the songs out of YouTube because of copyrighting. But we'll be linking, I'll be posting a clickable annotation that you can, after the edit, where I edit the songs out, so you can go and listen to the song that we just played if you want to check it out. Yeah. So that'll be on there.
It's a very professionally done job that John's doing.
Thank you. I do try.
Yeah, you do. You probably put more effort into it than in other areas that you should be focusing on. But then again, it seems like something that you might want to do as a job, and
who knows?
You might be able to do it.
Who knows?
As per usual, what are we going to do, John?
We are going to close with Arctic Monkeys. Thank you very much for listening to our show, and hopefully, thank you for watching the video. We are going to finish up with Arctic Monkeys. This is Dancing Shoes. See you next week.
Bye.
Goodbye.